So we are, going in various locations. In fact, we are opening offices in California, in Morgan Hill, in Houston, Nevada. So the growth of the company is what I've actually done twice as a, small company. My previous company, Mondex, we grew from 3 people to 360 people, and we were in 17 countries. And today, Tareen is actually in various locations. We have customers in Wall Street, people like Bank of America, Standard Bank in South Africa. We have Barclays in London. So we have quite a lot of high-profile customers and multi-million-dollar deals. What I really want to talk about is basically the startups. There are 2 aspects to startup. One is the science and one is the artistic element. When I say science, actually you need to look at it from a very technical perspective. What is the fundamental? You need to have a vision that you want to build a startup around. We need to have a differentiated service or product, right? We need to basically have a customer who can actually use your service or product. And of course, one of the key things, if you are in US, and that's very important for a high growth business, you need to be able to raise private equity, venture capital, investment from a lot of vendors. And there's a lot of fear and greed, so you have to basically deal with those situations. And the way you do it, you actually surround yourself with smart people. The worst thing you do is basically hire your friends in the company. So when we look at the second thing, it's basically the artistic element. And artistic element, we're going to go through these topics. The key thing really is that, you don't want to be smart guy on the room. You want to basically get other people to do a lot of talking, other people to do a lot of work. And then you want to basically drive the leadership. And then, one of the key things is that, when you come up with an idea, and you think it's the best idea, when you try to execute it, it often doesn't work. Why does it work? Because it may not be a real world problem. The key thing really is that we need to find a practical issue. And the way you can find a practical issue is basically by networking with like-minded people, customers, partners, as well as the university researchers, and you actually basically surround yourself with motivated people. The other thing is, of course, as an entrepreneur, one of the partners, one of the founders must be a best salesperson. Right? I was an engineer, and I never did sales, but it's charming, to be frank with you. I now actually do multi-million-dollar deals. So the reason behind that is that you have to be really in the game and go about it. The other thing about, the key thing that differentiates from an entrepreneur and the rest of the world is basically the entrepreneurs are totally believers. They actually turn things around. People will tell you, oh, this is tough, don't do it. People will tell you, no, you can't do it. You have to turn things around. And that's precisely what the entrepreneur is all about. That is what entrepreneurship is about. You have to be very tenacious, you have to be very zippy, and you have to be very believer in what you're doing. So how do you actually get into this area? Next slide, sir. And how do you actually ask yourself, are you an entrepreneur? And the way we actually basically do this is by asking very simple questions. Like, when I fail, do I actually take that failure very well? Right? And when failure happens, how do I actually behave? Do I actually basically, convince people to buy something? Do I actually sell, something? And if not, it doesn't have to be the articulate your value proposition. You have to be able to talk about your service, your product. And there are people who will actually help you. I mean, in US, we have a lot of ecosystem on technology. In Silicon Valley, there's a Pakistani entrepreneur organization. There's a Thai, which is the Indian entrepreneur or Indus entrepreneur, they call it. So you can actually get to those networking events and learn about it. And one of the other things that basically really differentiates entrepreneurs from the rest of the professional people is that entrepreneurs are very much emotional people. And if you're a successful entrepreneur, at some point you will basically be very, very emotional because you will have shareholders who will be really greedy. You will have customers who will be wanting a cheaper software, a cheaper solution. And there will be employees and HR issues. So you have a lot of emotional issues to tackle. Now, what does it take to be an entrepreneur, and what does it take to be creating a successful company? Right? Most people actually think if you have a great idea and you have a great product, then actually you have a success. Now, I can tell you, there's been some really crap products in the world, right? Absolutely crap products in the world. But there are people who have actually basically sold those crap products and made a successful business. At the end of the day, it's not only about product, it's about how you execute your idea, how you basically put together a fantastic team that really understands your vision, how you actually manufacture and engineer the product. So that basically goes beyond that best idea or what the best product can do. Okay? And, from a launching perspective, we need to be basically, reaching out and discover what other entrepreneurs are actually doing. For example, watching, thinking, learning about the life of Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or successful entrepreneurs who have actually done this. They were just like us, but they actually executed so well. They surrounded themselves with smart people. That's how it is. And they said that Steve Jobs, without Tim Cook, was nothing. Because Tim Cook was his execution engine. And the thing about it, he was a great product guy. When it comes to business, Tim Cook actually managed it well. And so, smart people are very important. And of course, you need the courage, you need basically guts, or what we call it, the really plain English, you need the balls, basically, to run the business like this.
Beyond that, we have applications in agricultural machinery, in labs, in oil prospecting, any kind of high-fidelity sensing applications that can benefit from wireless technology and from smart sensing, which takes the smarts into the nodes rather than